Hi, my name is Katie Spadoro, and I'm here with your Small Business Weekly HR update. We have good news today for small business owners. On Thursday, April 23rd, the House approved more funds for small businesses under the PPP. The bill was approved by the Senate earlier this week and is now waiting on the President's approval. As a part of the CARES Act, the Paycheck Protection Program had set aside $350 billion to loan to small businesses in order to keep their workers on their payroll during the pandemic. However, after just 2 weeks, the funds ran out. This new bill would add another $310 billion to the funds for PPP loans to small businesses. The Society for Human Resources Management, SHRM, has been urging Congress to make additional funds available to help more businesses and more employees. SHRM leaders wrote to Congress stating the PPP is vital to help small employers cover payroll costs, mortgages, rent payments, and healthcare benefits for their employees. As a business owner, if you missed out on the first round of funding through the PPP, be sure to get your application in for this next one. We advise that you talk to your banker or your lender today and get started on the application process. This money will likely go just as fast as the first round did. Next up, the Department of Labor continues to clarify the scope of unemployment benefits under the CARES Act. These new unemployment programs provide extra benefits to employees already getting unemployment benefits from the state, extend unemployment eligibility for an additional 13 weeks, and they also cover self-employed and gig workers. Here's a brief recap of the new unemployment options available to employees who have been laid off or furloughed. If you have former employees asking about unemployment, we recommend that you would direct them to their specific state's unemployment website. The DOL website can help them find more information as well. It's really important to provide them with these resources. The former owner of 7-Eleven stores has agreed to pay $160K to settle an EEOC lawsuit. The lawsuit alleges that 7-Eleven did not provide reasonable accommodations to several employees, which violated the ADA. 7-Eleven stores fired a warehouse worker and 8 other employees who requested reasonable accommodation, like modified duty or extended leave. The plaintiffs were unable to work for more than 3 days due to non-workplace injuries or conditions. The employees were not eligible for the Family and Medical Leave Act, the FMLA. Instead of accommodating these employees with disabilities, 7-Eleven terminated the employees. According to the EEOC, the St. Louis regional attorney said, businesses need to work with employees who have medical conditions and to request a reasonable accommodation. The first choice should always be to find a way to keep employees working or to get them back to work as quickly as possible. Terminating anybody who's disabled or asks for a reasonable accommodation is illegal according to the ADA. The ADA generally requires employers to accommodate workers with disabilities unless it would cause the business undue hardship. Once an employee has requested the accommodation, by the way, this request does not have to be in writing, the employer should engage in what they call an interactive process with the employee to identify solutions called accommodations. Accommodations vary greatly depending on the situation and the disability. Some examples of accommodations would be a modified policy, modified job duties, an adjusted work schedule, or even some additional leave time. In this instance, the EEOC noted that the leave, even when the employee did not qualify for FMLA, would not have created an undue hardship. What does this mean for you as a small business owner? Be sure to have an HR pro on your team so when you are ready, that you're ready for a situation like this. These situations can be difficult to navigate and you do need an HR expert on your side. Virtual HR for small businesses is available for you and it's a great option for companies that are a little smaller with a little bit of a different budget. Next up, will the reopening of workplaces look like? This is a question that is being asked by state and local governments as we talk about planning for the end of the social distancing and moving back into the workforce. Most likely, when mayors and governors eventually lift the safer at home or social distancing orders, reopening businesses will be a complicated process. HR experts expect employers and employees to experience a new work world initially and possibly even long term as this pandemic subsides. Organizations will need to consider measures to ensure the health and safety of their workforces, such as phasing in or staggering returns to the workforce and physical distancing in the offices. Additionally, organizations might encounter greater demand for flexible hours, remote work arrangements, and more generous paid leave, sick leave as part of the new normal. Many employees have been asking their bosses for more flexibility and have not gotten this for various reasons. However, now that these same employees have proven that they can work from home and possibly even increase productivity, they may just demand more flexibility. It just makes sense. Employers who are struggling financially after the shutdown might even find that keeping employees working from home can reduce costs. At Cyber, we plan to help our clients through this transition when it happens and take it one step at a time. Here are some additional things that you may want to keep in mind for your organization once the economy opens back up and you continue to get back to work. Steps for cleaning and disinfecting equipment, staggering shifts and lunch breaks, creating a pandemic response team, on-site health or temp screenings, protocols for SOPs and employees who come to work sick, physical distancing in your job sites or offices, protective equipment for employees, raising pay if the industry is high risk, such as grocery or retail, updating your PTO policy to account for employees who are taking care of children at home. On a related note, did you see the Wall Street Journal article this week about when to reopen businesses from the perspective of a dog and a cat? If you have a pet at home, let us know if you agree. Lastly, McDonald's restaurants are facing a class action lawsuit for sexual harassment of a female employee. Plaintiffs Ms. Farley and Ms. Reddick filed a lawsuit on April 10th in a Chicago federal court seeking over $500 million in damages on behalf of themselves and thousands of female workers at over 100 McDonald's restaurants in Florida. The women claimed severe and pervasive sexual harassment, which violated Title VII, in addition to the Florida Civil Rights Act. The Civil Rights Act of 1964 prohibits any type of discrimination, including sexual harassment. Sexual harassment can include unwelcome sexual advances, requests for sexual favors, and other verbal or physical harassment of a sexual nature. Both the victim and the harasser can be either a woman or a man, and the victim or the harasser can be of the same sex. The law forbids discrimination when it comes to any aspect of employment, including hiring, firing, pay, job assignments, promotions, layoffs, training, benefit, and any other term or condition of employment. Although the law does not prohibit simple teasing, offhand comments, or isolated incidents that are not very serious, harassment is illegal when it is so frequent or severe that it creates a hostile or offensive work environment, or when it results in an adverse employment decision, such as the victim being fired or demoted. The law also prohibits retaliation for employees who report harassment or make a good faith claim of harassment. Fairley, who is a current employee at McDonald's in Sanford, Florida, says that she was sexually harassed by a male coworker beginning in 2018. She alleges that he grabbed her by the waist and pulled her back into his groin area. Then, when she reported the incident to management, her hours were reduced drastically. That is a huge red flag. Reddick says that she was physically assaulted by a male coworker and then terminated in 2018 in retaliation for reporting the sexual harassment. According to the lawsuit, despite having knowledge of the sexual harassment and hostile work environment to which class members have been subjected, McDonald's failed to take immediate corrective action to stop it. This is a huge, huge mistake when handling sexual harassment claims at your organization. McDonald's responded that they have recently taken several steps to reaffirm their commitment to a sexual harassment-free work environment. These steps include an enhanced policy on discrimination, harassment, and retaliation prevention, and creating a free hotline that employees may call with any employment concerns. Wait, a free hotline? That sounds familiar. Cyber's free hotline is one of our favorite tools to combat sexual harassment and other workplace issues. Call Cyber to get this set up for your employees today to make sure to cover your bases like McDonald's did. Thanking you for watching. I appreciate it for checking it out. To learn more about how our virtual HR small business could be a good fit for your small business, head to cyber.co.